Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reading Duck and Dragon. This is a special book for me because this was actually written by my cousin. Here we go. The young ducks always looked forward to their daily lessons. Mama Duck would lead them down to the pond and give each duckling a new task to practice. There was paddling, blowing bubbles, snagging oats, and duck pellets from visiting humans, and a long list of other skills young ducks must master. All the ducklings were excelling at these skills, but it was well known that Clark, the youngest, was head of the class. He spent most days giving his sibling tips and training advice, even if it was not welcomed. Clark was so sure of his training abilities that he offered his assistance to others outside his family. He helped the shy turtles gain confidence to come out of their shells. He taught mermaids how to harmonize. Clark was certain he could teach any creature anything. That is, until he met Bernadette. She refuses to fly, Bernadette's mother said. I don't like heights, said Bernadette. Clark had never heard of a dragon afraid of heights, but he felt up for the challenge. Bernadette, however, was not an easy student. Hey, Bernie, Clark said, let's practice flying. Bernie yawned, no. No matter what he did or how he pled, Bernadette refused to flap a wing. She's impossible, Sid, Clark said to a wolf pup who was practicing his howl. She won't even try. Does she have any other skills? Asked Sid. Clark said. Maybe there is more to Bernadette than he thought. Hey, Bernie, can you blow bubbles? Clark asked after that day. Bernadette, who was balanced on her tail, didn't bother to open her eyes. No. Would you like to learn? Asked Clark. Bernie smiled. Yes. Okay. The trick is taking a big enough sip of water. Too little of a sip and you won't get the right results, Clark said. Got it. Bernie leaned over and took a long guzzling sip. Unfortunately, at that very moment, one of the ducklings told a knock-knock joke. It's well known that ducks are terrible at telling jokes and often deliver the wrong punchline. It is also known that dragons will laugh at almost any joke. Bernadette's cheeks turned a deep red. Bernadette sprayed a mouthful of water straight at Clark, then doubled over laughing. The water was gushing, lifting Clark in the air, depositing him safely in a willow tree. After a few days of training, Bernadette was a bubble-blowing champion. No one, not even Clark, could compete. I taught her that trick, Clark said to anyone who would listen. Clark decided it was time to try flying lessons again. Hey, Bernie, Clark said one sunny day, want to learn to fly? Not a chance. Bernie closed her eyes for her afternoon nap. She's impossible, Clark said to the firefly, practicing his glow. Who ever heard of a dragon who refused to fly? I always dreamed of training with a dragon, the firefly said. That fire-breathing skill, now that's a glow. Kyle Clark said, you weren't really listening, but you gave me an idea. Hey, Bernie, Clark said, can you breathe fire? Bernadette was practicing her treasure guiding skills. Of course, she said. Can you teach me? Asked Clark. Ducks can't breathe fire, Bernie said. Well, are you up for the challenge? Asked Clark. Bernie smiled. Yes. The trick to fire breathing is putting on your most fiercest face. Bernadette scowled. And once you do, you get this fiery feeling right there. Bernadette tapped the scales over her heart. It sparked into a flame and burned hotter and hotter. Do you feel it? The only thing Clark felt was his stomach growling, but he didn't want to give up. Definitely, he said. Good. Next, you stare eye to eye with your target. Pull that fiery feeling up from your heart and send it out with a roar. Watch me. Bernadette looked in on an apple resting on the tree stump. Locked in on an apple resting on the tree stump. She growled and curls of smoke rose from her nostrils. She roared and shot out a tiny flame. I still need to work on my flame size. Now you try. Clark glared at the dragon with the meanest face he could muster. He willed a fiery feeling in his heart. Nothing happened. So he stared harder, took a deep breath, and roared a giant quack. Bernadette's jaw dropped. Well, what do you think? Clark said. That was awesome, she yelled, pacing back and forth excitedly. You just have frightened every animal in the forest. You were so loud, my ears still hurt. You have got to teach me your technique. Bernadette was so excited, talking and moving around so fast, she didn't notice she was floating inches off the ground. And sure, you must work on your flame production, but my goodness, you could teach my parents a thing or two about roaring. Bernie, Clark said. Yes, asked Bernadette. By this time, she was floating as high as the treetop. You're really a good teacher, Clark said. And you're really high up. Bernadette let out a surprised yelp and soared down to Clark. She grabbed the small duck and swung him around. I was just really high up, she yelled. I'm ready for you to teach me to fly. Clark smiled. The end.